Have you worked with them before in your previous job?
Yes, I worked with him. I was introduced to Aaron Farmer in Jacksonville, Texas, and worked closely with him there with economic development. Saw them bring in several businesses, including Chick-fil-A in Jacksonville. Jacksonville, Texas is similar size to Espanola. Then lo and behold, ran into them in Eunice. They worked with Lee County and Eunice in that area, and watched them bring in a lot of businesses to the Hobbs and Lovington area because they had the workforce to support it. They had the Hobbs is a lot like Espanola, where they have a lot of people drive in. So in Hobbs, if you live south of Hobbs, you live in Eunice, you live in Jow, you're driving to Hobbs, 40, anywhere from 22 to 44 miles to get to Hobbs to shop, or you're driving 80 miles to Midland. And so it's a similar thing. A lot of people drive in. I've watched them bring in a McAllister's. I watched them bring in a Texas Roadhouse. They brought in several retail shopping stores to that area, all within the past about year. Even when COVID was going on, they were building a Dunkin' Donuts with a T-Mobile and all this other stuff in the area.
If we move forward with this initiative on a lot of the properties that are shown as private properties, how do we work as far as looking at utilizing them for retail? And for instance, the two properties he mentioned on Fairview Lane on opposite sides are both someone's homes.
I know that Ramona has interested in moving to Albuquerque to go be with Debbie, so that could be a possibility.
I think the lowest low hanging fruit is going to be on the west side of town, where the city owns quite a bit of property, and the west side really needs something more than right now than the east side does. And I think that's really where the low hanging fruit that we need to try to attract is. And as for the workforce question, when college starts back up, you're going to have local college students that are going to need some kind of job.
And then that middle person between the city and the retail coach would be Lou in that aspect to make the contacts and connections. He didn't mention it, but we have a big substantial 7-acre piece there on the west side of town. Mr. John Rodriguez, he called me last week. We're going to have a meeting at the end of the month. He owns the largest parcel commercial frontage on the west side of the city. That would be a perfect opportunity. It's right across from the college as well. And so these are all things that are discussed, but I think the west side has the most opportunities because, again, like Mr. Yahtzee said, we own property here on this side of town. One of the things too that Aaron mentioned it when he did the analysis of how many people went to the fiesta, he said we should get actually more hotels. Yeah. Further discussion? Okay. I think it's the best use of investing money. The film money is stagnant. It's not a reoccurring line item. It's putting the money back to see what we can do with it, produce with it. Creates that pro forma status, and it makes those contacts with businesses that we don't have here, and we have to send people to conferences and such to make those day in and day out conference.
What you're really looking at is you're taking film money, which is going to vary year to year, could be none, could be a lot, but you're turning this into GRT money, which will be there every year.
Is this a monthly fee, an annually fee?
It is an annual fee of $37,500. The actual contract, I believe, is for $35,000. Then there's up to $2,500 in additional travel expenses. And then after the first year, it drops down to $17,500 for each additional year after that. So the first year is the most expensive year.
Councilor Justin Sass.
Thank you. So speaking of contracts, what are the terms? What would be the terms of this contract, and for how many years are we tied into? Is it renewed annually?
We renew annually at y'all's pleasure. It is not all paid up front. It is paid $10,000 is paid, I believe, within the first 30 days of signing the contract, and then it's paid in increments throughout the year.
So then let's just say if a year comes in the way, we don't see nothing out of it, we can say, okay, thank you.
Yep.
Or we can say, hey, look, you already guys brought this and this and this, and put Panda on the top of the list there, please. And
I concur. I second that, sir.
Well, the hope is to bring in retail that we can grow the GRT because we haven't made any strides to grow the GRT here. And so we have excess money, and if we can make that expansion to try and do that, we've had for the longest time until this past year, we've had pretty much a stagnant budget here at the city. We haven't had much progress and growth in that aspect. Councilor Manny.
Thank you. I just do feel that if we don't do something, and if we don't, something to start that wheel turning as far as bringing in businesses that will bring GR2, we're gonna see a lot of businesses on Pueblo property that's not gonna bring anything in. Especially if they start building outwards towards the Okewingie area. And then we're gonna have the businesses, but we're not gonna have any revenue coming in from that. So I think we do need to look at that.
Councilor Rodriguez.
I think we really do need businesses on the west side of town. I think it's perfect time to develop on this side.
Councilor Manny Martinez.
Thank you. I think we also need to look at, we have a college, we have a 4-year college, and we are not anywhere looking like a college town when it comes to the business surrounding that. And I think that would really generate a lot of, it should generate a lot of business on the west side. It should. There should be a lot of business right now on the west side because of the college. And I think the city and the county should also look at helping the county or helping the college bringing in housing or some sort of housing for the college itself, whether it's dormitories or what it may be, so we can get that money coming in as well from.
One of the overall plans on this would be, if we do it for the first year, show the results, get with the county, partner with them, bring our costs down. So to break down the cost, $10,000 upon execution of the contract, $15,000 is paid 90 days after that fact, and then $5,000 is paid at 180 days, is what the current contract says. So it's not all upfront cost.
Here, okay.
I have a little bit of an issue with the way that's paid out in 180 days. 5 months, they've been completely paid and we're still into them for another 7 months. So that's a little concerning for me about how that gets paid out. The main thing for me is deliverables. I need to see what they're able to produce. And I know that's ambiguous at this point. We don't know. It's a risk that we're taking in all reality. My concern deals with what amount of money has the movie industry brought into us? We're talking about it like we have all that money, but I don't have any figures, so I'm curious.
Last budget year, we received a little bit over 20,000. We just received a check this week for about $52,000.
So we have plenty of money to
Yes.
cover this.
Yes.
Okay, all right, I'm okay then.
And that's before, at the end of the contract, it's supposed to come up to like 120, right? That's what.
There should be another 50,000 plus payment received from the curse by the industry.
So that money's stagnant. It's not a reoccurring line item. And it'd be really hard to put that towards anything else rather than investing it, utilizing it for something. One thing that we left out too is the land grant is interested in developing their property as well. And so that's a great partner that we can utilize to see if they're interested in working with us. And they do actually have some funds. I don't think they have to cover the entire, but that's another entity that would be interested. Any other comments, discussion? And being none, there's a motion on the floor and a second. Ms. LaRue.
Mayor Pro Tem Peggy Sue Martinez,
In favor?
Councillor Dennis Tim Salazar,
For the motion.
Councillor Justin Salazar Perez,
In favor.
Councillor Manuel Martinez,
In favor?
Councillor Denise Benavides,
In favor.
Councillor Dorothy Didi Valdez,
For the motion.
Councillor Aaron Salazar,
In favor.
Councillor Nanette Rodriguez.
On the motion.
Motion carries.
Thank you all. Moving on, action item F, discuss approve the purchase of AutoCAD system not to exceed $1,900. Mr. Jordan Yetsey.
Yes, Mayor, this is purchase of software. This allows me to do preliminary CAD work, do subdivision plats, look and see what kind of lots we can fit in there before we actually turn it over and spend $20,000-$30,000 to engineer. It also allows me to get CAD drawings from the engineers on projects, so to better analyze what they're thinking and what they're doing. This is a government pricing on the software. To give you an example, if you do it as a private individual, it's about $3,500.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion made by Mayor Pro Tem Peggy Sue Martinez, second by Counselor Nanette Rodriguez, Counselor Justin Salazar Torres.
Does the honorable city manager need us to approve this? Doesn't this fall under his?
This was a non-budgeted item, and I believe, and if it's non-budget item, council needs to know where the money's going.
Yep.
So it's more of a housekeeping on me.
Sure, that's fine, just asking.
Question?
Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Mr. Yetsey. Concerning the programming of the AutoCAD, is that the programming for 1 year and then a recurring cost after that?
It is a recurring cost. The cost goes down. It's based on how Autodesk feels at the time. It never goes up. It always goes down.
Right, thank you.
Anything else, ladies and gentlemen? No further. Ms. LaRue, would you call the roll?
Mayor Pro Tem Peggy Sue Martinez,
In favor?
Counselor Dennis Tim Salazar,
For the motion.
Counselor Justin Salazar Perez,
In favor.
Counselor Manuel Martinez,
In favor?
Counselor Denise Benavides. In favor. Counselor Dorothy Didi Valdez,
In favor.
Counselor Aaron Salazar,
Favor.
Counselor Nanette Rodriguez.
In favor.
Motion carries.
Right, we also have another executive session.
This one will be short, very short and sweet.
Motion to go into executive, but let's go ahead and read it, Mayor.
Okay. Pursuant to New Mexico Open Meetings Act, section 1015(1) H subsection 2 of the New Mexico Open Meetings Act, specifically so that the mayor and governing body may discuss limited personnel matters relating to the finance director.
Motion to go into executive.
Motion made by Mayor Pro Tem Peggy Sue Martinez.
Second.
Second by Counselor Denise Benavides. Roll call, Ms. LaRue.
Mayor Pro Tem Peggy Sue Martinez,
Yes.
Counselor Dennis Tim Salazar,
For the motion.
Counselor Justin Salazar Perez,
In favor.
Counselor Manuel Martinez,
In favor?
Counselor Denise Benavides. In favor. Counselor Dorothy Didi Valdez,
For the motion.
Counselor Aaron Salazar,
In favor.
Counselor Nanette Rodriguez.
For the motion.
Motion carries.
and taken in executive session. Can I get a motion to exit?
Motion to come out of executive session, sir.
Motion made by Mayor Pro Tem Peggy Sue Martinez to exit out of executive session, second by Counselor Didi Valdez. Roll call, Ms. LaRue.
Mayor Pro Tem Peggy Sue Martinez,
Heck, yes.
Counselor Dennis Tim Salazar,
Fastest executive session I've ever been a part of. Yes.
Counselor Justin Salazar Torres,
Yes, please.
Counselor Manuel Martinez,
Yes, ma'am.
Counselor Denise Benavides.
Yes.
Counselor Dorothy Didi Valdez. Counselor Aaron Salazar.
Favor.
Counselor Nanette Rodriguez.
For the motion.
Motion carries.
Thank you all. It is 8:58. This meeting is now adjourned. Good night, Counselor.